I was just hiding from the rain by the road when I stumbled upon a girl in a wheelchair. At first I thought she needed help, but she just kept staring at me all shy and nervous. After hesitating for a long time, she carefully pulled out a beat-up piggy bank. I don't have any family. Can you be my family? Would this money be enough to keep you around for 2 days? Even 1 day is fine. Looking at the hopeful expression on her face, the words to turn her down rose to my lips. My parents had just passed away out of nowhere, and right after that, my boss let me go. My girlfriend of several years found out and broke up with me, and my landlord threw me out on the street. The $137 in my wallet was the last of my savings in this city where I knew nobody. I was standing in the pouring rain on the verge of a breakdown when suddenly, I felt something poke the back of my head, and when I turned around, I saw a hand so thin you could almost make out the veins awkwardly holding up an umbrella. She seemed to be trying to shield me from the rain, and when I turned to look, I realized it was a girl sitting in a wheelchair. She was frail and slender. Her cheeks were pale, and her messy hair still couldn't hide how strikingly pretty her face was. The rain had soaked half her body, but she didn't seem to care at all. She stubbornly kept trying to hold the umbrella over me, even struggling to push herself up. I couldn't help but laugh at myself. I never thought I'd fall so low, that a girl in a wheelchair would be the one looking out for me. But before I could even thank her, her wheelchair slowly started rolling backward, and that's when I realized we were on a slope. I had no time to mourn the dropped umbrella. I just bolted after her. Every time she tried to stop the wheels with her hands, her struggling only made the chair roll faster. Thank God, at the very last second, I managed to grab the wheelchair. But the umbrella flew forward from the momentum and landed right on top of her head. It made her look like some kind of little devil on wheels, so I quickly checked on her. You okay? The girl just shook her little head, looking totally dazed. Hey little sis, it's pretty late. What are you doing out here all by yourself? The second it came out of my mouth, I regretted it. That sounded exactly like something a creep would say. Sure enough, the girl seemed to trigger some kind of defense mode like a startled kitten. She shrank back into her wheelchair. I was just out for a stroll. You should head home. Your family must be worried. I don't have any family. My grandma passed away yesterday. I suddenly realized I had asked the wrong question, and a troubling thought began to creep into my mind. A disabled girl with no family. How was she supposed to survive on her own? But that wasn't really my problem to worry about. After all, I could barely keep myself afloat. Still, maybe out of guilt, I decided to personally walk her home. After pushing her into the elevator, I turned to leave. But the girl grabbed the hem of my jacket with her little hand. You'll get soaked. I smiled to myself. This girl was so anxious just talking to people, yet she was still thinking about whether I would get rained on. How about this? Let me borrow your umbrella. Well, figure out a time to meet up tomorrow so I can give it back. Now go inside. It's late at night. Watch out for strangers. The girl looked even more frightened hearing that, but her fingers still stubbornly refused to let go of my jacket. I could see what was happening. She was trying to keep me there in her own clumsy way, so I figured I'd just be a good guy about it. Walk her upstairs before heading out. But when I finally made it to the top floor, her place wasn't there. It was even higher up on a rooftop soaked through by the rain. There was no ramp or elevator up here, just a steep set of concrete steps. Stretching up into the dark and the wet, I couldn't imagine how much courage it took for this girl to make it down those stairs in a wheelchair. Luckily, she was pretty light. I carried her in the wheelchair up to the rooftop without much trouble, and after she unlocked the door, the first thing I saw in the middle of the living room was a black and white photo of a sweet-looking old woman. A few bags of trash were still piled up by the entryway, since taking out the garbage was already a struggle for her, let alone hauling it all the way downstairs. But the more I understood that, the more one question nagged at me: this shy, timid girl. Why would she go out alone in the middle of the night? Then I turned to leave, and the girl timidly asked me in a puzzled voice, "You came all this way, so why are you leaving?" That caught me off guard, but when I looked at her, her clear, innocent eyes snapped me back to reality, and I realized this girl seriously had no sense of danger. She had no idea how risky it was to bring a strange man home, so I crouched down to talk some sense into her. Bringing strangers home is dangerous, especially someone like me who you know nothing about. The girl instantly got tense, like a kid who knew they were in trouble. I did not. You are the first one. And am an adult. I have an ID. Only that last line came out smooth and confident. You are totally missing the point here. I put on a serious face. It's not about being an adult. Promise me you won't bring strange guys home anymore. When I finished and turned to go, she grabbed my jacket again. If you stay, then it doesn't count as bringing a stranger home next time. I let out a sigh, not just frustrated by the communication gap between us, but genuinely aching from a loneliness I knew all too well. Still, I was no saint, and she was a defenseless girl. There was no telling when my own darkness might get the better of me. One ruined life is enough. No reason to drag someone else down with me. Listen, I know you need someone around right now, but even if I stay tonight, what about tomorrow and the day after? I need to earn a living. I can't just be here all the time. I know this is hard to hear, but you have to learn to face things on your own. I watched her head slowly droop lower and realized I'd been a little too harsh. Look, I don't exactly have some sugar mama supporting me and barely keeping myself fed. How about once I get back on my feet? That made the girl's eyes light up out of nowhere. She quickly wheeled herself into the bedroom and came back a moment later, hugging a beat-up piggy bank. I will take care of you. Just how many days will this cover? Her voice got quieter and quieter. She clearly knew that money wouldn't even feed a goldfish, but she stubbornly held out the piggy bank anyway, looking at her going all in like that. I didn't know what to say, but I knew this was serious. That money was probably her last dollar. If I just walked away, she could starve to death in this apartment and nobody would even know. So I asked her point blank, where are your parents? Tell me the truth. Mom and dad don't want me anymore. They left for overseas. Grandma couldn't reach them either. She was trembling from the tone of my voice, but still managed to answer in broken sentences. A heavy helplessness washed over me, and when I still didn't respond, she stubbornly lifted the piggy bank again. Her arms were already getting tired, but she kept her eyes fixed on me. You can have me for 2 days. 1 day is fine too. People aren't for sale. You can't do that. No, you can't. But mommy always said she was gonna sell me. The girl's words hit like a rusty nail straight to the chest. I wanted nothing more than to track down her deadbeat parents and knock them out, and it seemed like the girl read my silence. All the emotion she had been holding back completely broke through. I don't want to be alone. I'm scared. Huge tears rolled down onto her legs that couldn't feel a thing seeing that. I completely froze. Hey. Stop crying, let's talk this out, okay? Somehow that hit the pause button, and the girl stopped crying immediately. But the tears kept streaming down her face, and on top of that, she was pouting, which honestly made her look like some kind of meme of an angry kid anyone watching would think I was the bad guy. I was completely out of ideas. Fine, you win, what do you need me to do? I want food that'd be real with me. I had mentally prepared myself for almost anything, and all she could come up with was dinner. No, that's not, okay? It's just dinner, why didn't you just say so sooner? Do you have anything in the kitchen? Carrots, eggs? Oh, right. There's rice in the rice cooker. After saying that, the girl suddenly shrank down sheepishly. Seeing that guilty look on her face, I didn't think much of it. I figured she was just being shy and headed straight to the kitchen, ready to make the fried rice I already had in mind. But when I got there, I found that besides the range hood, there were only a few eggs in the corner, some wilted carrots, and 2 beat-up pots. Honestly, it was sad, but at least the oil, salt, soy sauce, and vinegar were all stocked. Knocking out a simple egg fried rice would be no problem at all, but when I confidently popped open the rice cooker, I found a full-on gray forest growing inside, and the rice at the bottom was hard enough to use as a weapon. I took